All right. Hi, a very, very good evening to one and all, and welcome to day three of this series called Rejuvenate that we're doing this year for all of our students. And yeah, we're so the response for the past 2 days has been really, really good. So we'd like to thank you guys on behalf of the entire team. I'd like to thank you guys for your overwhelming support for this series. And yeah, so on day three, we have another amazing guest with us today, and we're so excited to have her here. So, yeah, Apurva ma'am, um,
Hello.
hi, so nice
Hello,
to have you here.
everyone. Yes, good evening.
Good evening. We're so excited for this conversation. So, yeah, before we begin with the questions, I'd just like to introduce the amazing guest that we have with us here today. So, Apurva ma'am specializes in sports diet along with lifestyle modification, and she holds a graduate and postgraduate degree in food science and nutrition from SNDT Women's University, and she also has an American College of Sports Medicine approved sports nutrition specialization certificate from the Exercise Science Academy. So, Apurva ma'am has experience in nutrition counseling, product testing, recipe development, content writing, and conducting health and nutrition workshops. And she's also an assistant professor for undergraduate nutrition and dietetics program at the BMN College of Home Science in Mumbai. And apart from having 8 years of experience in the field of food, health, and nutrition counseling, Purva ma'am has received the Shiva Chhatrapati State Sports Award for rope malkham from the state government of Maharashtra in the year 2008, and the Mumbai City District Sports Award for an outstanding sportsperson in 2007. And she is an international judge for rope malkham. And other than that, she runs a private practice for sports and nutrition consultancy called Meal for Medals. So we have with us nutritionist Miss Apurva Surve. Wow, this was such a long description. We have among us a woman of many talents and many skills. So welcome, ma'am. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much for a sweet introduction, Divya. And thank you so much for the Ruya Student Council for inviting me to take up this, session or, interview session. It is obviously, I'm always excited when I'm, speaking to students of the college because they have so much of energy and they come up with so many questions, for this session. They have such interesting questions. I'm always happy and excited to answer these questions also. And nutrition being such an important topic. In our life, it is obviously, I feel, sometimes proud to share whatever I have learned throughout my college years, and after that, through my practice or experience, to share with you all. So I'm happy to be here today.
Absolutely, I agree. It's such an important topic to talk about, especially for people our age, because we're just starting out into the most active years of our life. So, definitely, this is a conversation that needs to be had. So, to open up with the questions, so for the audience, in case you have any questions that might pop up in your head in the middle of this conversation, please just note them down or just keep them in your mind, and we will open the floor for questions at the end of this session. So, just to start off, Apurva ma'am, how have you been doing? How has this past year been for you? It's something none of us have ever seen before. And how's it going? How's life?
I think for everyone, it was, first few months, it was in fear and panic, everyone did not know. For me, it was also the same. Actually, I was working with Sports Authority of India in their Aurangabad center. So I was there, and athletes in March, second week of March only, the athletes were sent home because, of this pandemic and all. That time, not everyone knew the severity, so just to take precautions, everyone was sent home, and we were waiting, whether we will also, the staff will also be sent home or not. And we got a circular just before, the lockdown happened, that you can work from home also, and you can go to your hometown and work from there. I immediately packed my bags and returned to Mumbai because we had 2 weeks, to work from home.
Yeah.
I came here, and the lockdown happened. So fortunately for me, I got a chance to stay with my family, and I was not alone there in Aurangabad. So that happened. But yes, first few months was in panic and fear. We did not know what will happen and how to face such a situation, because for us, for our generation, I think it was the first such to
Yeah.
experience such a pandemic. We have never experienced such, and it was new to us. So I think, like everyone else, we were also the same. I was also experiencing the same feelings and emotions. But yeah, I would say I was lucky that I was with my family, I was with my parents, my husband, and also I was happy that I was with them, I was close to them.
That's nice. Yeah, that is one bright side of the lockdown. We've all spent so much time with our families that we usually don't get to. So, okay, moving on to the topic of the day, nutrition, fitness, diet. So, first of all, my very first question is, why is it important for us to be even talking about this subject? Why is it important for all of us to educate ourselves more and more about nutrition and fitness?
Okay, so I think let me ask everyone this question: how many times you eat in a day? I think college students eat. They love to eat outside also, restaurants. They have their own favorite food stalls, favorite pastime meals. Even at home, they will have their favorite foods to snack in between, to munch in between. So we are eating so many things, yeah, at home and outside also. So we should know, first of all, why we are eating. Yeah, what is food to us, what is food to our body. So first of all, it is like, it is a fuel. It is not like, it is a fuel. Like you have to charge your phones, you have to charge your laptops, and you have to give fuel and petrol and diesel to your transport and to your vehicles. Same thing, our fuel is the food. Our body is like a machine, and we require the fuel to work. Okay, even though right now we are sitting, you all are listening to this session, I am speaking, whatever it is, but we are still consuming that energy. We still require that energy to function, because all our systems inside, right, heart is beating, our brain is working 24 hours 7, we are breathing, and all the systems inside, they're working continuously till we have the life. The once the systems stop, we are no more. Okay, so all this working, all these processes, maybe for energy, maybe for growth and development of the body, for immunity, for better immunity, for this muscle strengthening or bone strengthening, everything, all this requires nutrients. Yeah, these nutrients, where do we get these nutrients from the food we eat. Yeah, and to be more specific, and why it is so important, when we see all the cells in our body, or when we talk about bones and muscles and brain and all the organs and tissues, and even the minute cell, which we have to look under the microscope, everything consists of all the nutrients, especially 6 nutrients: your carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. So all these things, they are made up of all these nutrients. Yeah, and in the true sense, there's a common saying, you are what you eat. It's absolutely true, because whatever you are going to eat, body is going to digest that, body is going to absorb that. Whatever it is not required, it will throw out of the body. And all the cells and tissues and organs, everything are going to be developed, or maintained or repaired with this nutrition which you get from food. And that's why it is so important. It is the base, it's the foundation of your body, or for a better health.
Absolutely, completely. I completely agree with everything that you say. And yeah, you spoke of immunity, and that has been a subject of great discussion in this whole pandemic period. There have been brands popping up and coming up with all sorts of immunity boosters and everything. And people have started coming up with home remedies that apparently cure COVID-19. So just the intake of, adrak ka kada ye le lo, this kada and that kada, and just people, coming up with weird sort of techniques to quote unquote cure COVID-19 or prevent it. So, as a nutritionist, how would you comment upon that?
Okay, so first of all, it's unfortunate that it took a pandemic to tell us or make us realize that how health is important, taking care of your body, how much it is of importance. Yeah. So unfortunately it took us that. But when it comes to a particular food, or when it comes to a particular nutrient, or a lot of supplements are coming in the market telling you that it will improve your immunity, it will strengthen your immunity. So it is not like that. Okay, there is no single food which is a superfood, or there is no single nutrient which is the magic nutrient, or no single supplement which is a magic pill. Okay, our body is complex, and whatever the food we eat, or whatever the nutrients we eat, everything in our body is interconnected, interlinked. The functions in the body of these nutrients are interlinked. Okay, so you cannot say that if you have this, only this food, or only this nutrient, or only this supplement, you will have better health. No, it does not happen like that. Yeah, example, I just want to give you an example. Like, for better absorption of calcium, you require vitamin D also. So even if you're popping calcium supplements and you're deficient in vitamin D, that calcium is not going to get absorbed in our body, and its body will throw out. Okay, iron requires vitamin C for its absorption in the body. Okay, even for producing energy in our body, whatever the activity we do, yeah, this muscle contraction, even if I have to bend this muscle, you're contracting the muscle. Okay, now these muscle contractions also require energy. They require calcium for that cell signaling also. That calcium will transfer from that nervous system, and it will tell the muscle to contract. Okay, now these contraction requires the calcium, it requires energy production. And energy production will come from your carbohydrates either, or proteins or fats. Okay, so this is, everything is interconnected. So there were many people who came up with home remedies, ye khao wo khao, but anything in excess will also lead to some problems. Okay, even if it's a good food, yeah, it's a healthy food, even if you take turmeric in excess, it is not good. Yeah, it will have some other side effect. Same thing, if you consume something else in very less quantities, or if you're deficient in that, again there will be some problems in your body. Okay, so just don't fall prey to any of the WhatsApp forwards, because I have seen so many WhatsApp forwards, floating around about various kadas and various remedies and all that. So don't fall prey to those. Uh, it is as simple as that. If you have, balance in your food intake and the nutrition which you take, your body will be in a better position to absorb these nutrients and to digest and facilitate that in the body. Other thing I want to really tell is, it's not only the nutrition. Health is, better health is also dependent on various other factors. It is dependent on your physical activity. Yeah, it is dependent on nutrition, hydration. It is also dependent on your mental well-being, your stress management, how you manage pressure, how you manage stress. Yeah, what is your screen time, and also important is your sleep. What is your sleep pattern, whether you're getting sound sleep. So all these factors play a role when you have to improve your health. So just don't stick to one thing and tell that, okay, I'm just doing this to better my health. No, it's a complex, it's like a puzzle. You have to put in the pieces in the right place to create or finish up that puzzle. So that's how it works, and that's my take on the different things which came up in the pandemic related to nutrition.
Absolutely. Like, we can't look at all these things in isolation, that, oh, just diet will help me or just working out will help me. We have to make this whole healthy system for ourselves. I absolutely agree with what you said. And so, speaking of nutrition, so it's just these trends that come up in nutrition all the time. It's every month there's a new superfood. You have the broccolis and the quinoas and the kiwis coming up, and they just make it seem like if you're not eating this food, you are not nourishing your body.
Yes.
And then घर पे all we get is roti sabzi dal chawal. So would you like to bust these myths? Like, is the diet that we eat on a day-to-day basis, is it sufficient? Does it provide us with all the nutrition we need, or do we need all of these quote-unquote superfoods?
Okay, first of all, if you see our Indian foods, if you go to a market, go to a vegetable market. If you're not gone to one, okay, go to a vegetable market, go to a fruit market, and if you're a non-vegetarian, go to a fish market or whatever it is. You see the variety of foods we have, Indian foods. Yeah, instead of broccoli, you have cabbage, you have cauliflower, which will give you almost similar nutrients. Okay, and then there are so many variety of vegetables locally available. Leafy vegetables, just don't stick to spinach. Yeah, we have methi, we have chawli, we have amaranth leaves, we have drumstick leaves, so many type of leafy vegetables also. So even fruits, yeah, there are so many local foods available. Instead of just jumping to kiwis and just consuming different types of berries, raspberries and blueberries, these are exotic and these are expensive also. You have similar amount of antioxidants or whatever nutrients with our local foods also. You have jamun, you have papaya, you have pineapple. There's so many things, so try to eat that. Yeah, try to see that. If you want, you can, if you want to experiment that taste and all, it is good. I'm not saying those foods are bad. Okay, if you like it and if you love them, you can afford them, you can eat it. Yeah, but try our local foods also. They also provide the same nutrition. Yeah, sometimes what happens, this fruits or vegetables which are coming, which are exotic or which are coming from outside, they have been into the storage or they are frozen or into storage for quite a number of days, months, and during that storage, maybe the nutrition must have also reduced, the nutrient losses must have been there. So it is better to eat which is locally grown. The time between the farm to your table is less, so you get maximum nutrition out of that. So try to experiment or taste our local sabjis also, fruits also, even dals and pulses. There's so many types of dals and pulses. Just don't stick to tuar dal and moong dal and matki. There's so many different types.
So yeah, I mean, vocal for local is something that we need to bring into our ideas of food as well. Absolutely. So leading to that, so you were talking about the screen time and everything, and I read recently that like sitting is the new smoking. It's that harmful. Sitting for long durations is that harmful for us. And it's just with these online lectures, we have been sitting for so long, for 6-hour lectures. We're just sitting for such a long time in the day. There's so much screen time, and our sleep schedules are just off the charts. Our diets are all over the place. And so the very theme of this Rejuvenate series that we're doing is regain control, to sort of regain control over the routines that we've lost. So I'm assuming there's some amount of damage that we've done to our bodies in this whole online lecture situation. So if what is it that we can do to prevent further damage and repair the damage that has been done, if we can?
Okay, first of all, I know there has been a lot of sitting, online, because of the online lectures you have, screen time has increased. Yeah. With in terms of nutrition, if I tell you, one good thing which has happened during this lockdown is people ate a lot of home cooked foods, rather than outside food and restaurant foods. People have ate that, and so the control, oil control and salt, that has been controlled if you're eating at home, because you know how much amount you're going to put sugar, salt and oil, that is controlled. If your mother is cooking, she knows, she'll not put unnecessarily too much of salt and sugar and oil. Yeah, outside it is loaded with all these things which lead to weight gain or hormonal imbalance also. Now once now when you're inside, yeah, continuously sitting, first of all, try to break that. Stretches, do some stretches while sitting, or get up from your chair, do some rounds and sit. In terms of food, okay, just don't try to munch while you're in a lecture. Okay, because then you're not concentrating on the food also. Yeah, body is very smart. It will tell you when to stop eating. It will send you those signals. Your stomach will send you those signals. It is only a matter of fact that you should understand those signals. You should connect with your body on when you are hungry, when you are, you know, full. There is something called as physical hunger, there is something called as emotional hunger. Okay, physical hunger, which you're really hungry, your body requires food, you know, for you to keep going. Emotional hunger is when you're stressed. There is exam stress, you know, there is assignment stress. I've broken with my girlfriend, I've broken up with my boyfriend, and that stress is there. You had a fight with your parents, or you had a fight with your best friend, and you have some stress, and you want, you know, to release that stress, you want to go and grab some ice cream or chips or some fried item. So you should first of all try to, you know, distinguish between these two hungers. Yeah, why you want to, you know, eat that, whether you really feel hungry, or whether you are just bored, or you're stressed, or you're feeling sad and you want to reach out to that food. You have to differentiate that. Next thing is, I've seen people munching, you know, so many things in between. Yeah, so thoda thoda karke you're putting in too many things in your body. Again, weight gain is, you know, one of the what you say, I would say obesity is basically a disease, but I would not directly say obesity. But weight gain has been a side effect or byproduct of this lockdown for many people. Yeah, because of the sitting, less of activity, and eating a lot of food. Yeah, munching in between because they don't have anything to do. So that control has to be there. Yeah, we call it as mindful eating. Whenever you're eating food, just take deep breathing. Okay, just do deep breathing, maybe 5 deep breaths, and then start eating. So you have that focus on your food, and you have that connection with your food. Okay, second thing is, try to incorporate a lot of fruits and vegetables in your diet. That is missing. People are not consuming enough of fruits and vegetables. They are eating too much of rice or roti or bread. Okay, so try to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Okay, next thing is drinking water. It's very, very important. You know, it happens if you're sitting in an AC room, you don't sweat, you don't feel thirsty, you don't drink water. Yeah, even if you're sitting and listening to lectures, you don't feel water. So first of all, try to see that you're always hydrating yourself. It also should not happen, you know, एक ही बार मैंने 500 ml पानी पी लिया और एक ही बार 1 लीटर की bottle खाली की. No, it's not like that. Okay, you have to have it, you have to hydrate yourself frequently. Maybe after 1 hour's lecture, have drink water. And you should have your water bottle with you always. Yeah, even when you're sitting for an online lecture, see, I also have my water bottle with me. So in between, if I feel thirsty, I can immediately, good, so I can drink water. Yeah, so you should always have water bottle with you, even if you're not going outside, sitting at home, still have that bottle, so you know how much water you're drinking, and you can have control over there. Because if your hydration levels also go down, you're not able to focus on your lectures or on your studies. Also, your brain is almost 80-85% water. So imagine if your hydration levels goes down, you'll not be able to focus or concentrate on their studies. So those are some tips you need to incorporate in your day-to-day routine.
Absolutely. So it's just very small changes. There's nothing drastic that we need to do. Just very small changes will, compound to have much greater effects for us in the long term. Absolutely. So since we're speaking of diet and nutrition, this is something that I wanted to ask, that every other week we have a new diet coming up, right? There's intermittent fasting, keto, gluten free, this free, that free. There's a new diet every week. It's so hard to keep up. And if someone is already in a vulnerable position where they sort of want to lose weight, then it's very easy for them to fall for all of this. And while not all of them can have harmful effects, but some of them are too restrictive, and you can't even distinguish between diet and punishment. And so how would you tell someone of our age that how can we distinguish between, okay, this is a good diet and this is a bad diet, because most of us don't have a nutritionist whom we can consult for, such advice. And it's just, everything seems so alluring that we're like, acha, try karke dikhte hai, but it could have harmful consequences. So how do we, sort of understand, separate a good diet from a bad diet?
Okay. So first of all, there is no such thing as a perfect diet. Okay. Uh, e- Diet, people have been, misunderstanding the term diet. Okay. They have misused that, and there's so many fad diets also coming up. Eat this and lose weight, fasting, and some of the diets do have a scientific backup to them. Okay, and they do work. So I'm not saying, that all the diets are bad and, they don't do work. But first of all, you have to understand your body. This is the one mistake that everyone is doing. They are not understanding their body first. That's the basic. Try to understand your body first. What are your eating habits? What are you eating in a day? What are you eating in a week? What are you eating in a month? Yeah, what are the foods? How much quantity? You can take a photo and keep a record visually, so you can see, the colors. What are the colors in your plate? What is the variety? How much variety of fruits? How much variety of vegetables? How much variety of cereals, pulses, and all these things you're consuming on a daily basis or a monthly basis. Okay, so people are not understanding that thing, and they're directly jumping on a specific diet. Yeah, and when that diet does not work from them for a week or something like that, they will just stop doing it, and they will get frustrated. Okay, this is not working from me, I'm not losing weight. And that's how, see, when even if you come to a nutritionist, she first understands how your body is. She also tells that nothing is going to work overnight. You have to give time to your body. We have to experiment with foods and quantities, whether you are compatible with certain foods. Not everyone is compatible with all the foods also. Yeah, not everyone is compatible with fasting. I cannot fast. If I fast, I have acidity, and also I don't fast. So it is not like that you have to fast, or, you have to eat certain foods only, or, completely avoid certain foods to have weight loss. No. First of all, understanding your body is very, very important. Once you understand that, okay, these foods are compatible to my body, I can incorporate these foods in my diet and still, have the results which I want, then it works great. It works faster also, because sometimes it also happens, some of the foods you really like, but they are not compatible with your body. Yeah, like example I would like to give, I love, I loved milk, drinking milk. When I was an athlete and playing competitive, I used to really drink milk like that only, without sugar, without any powders, nothing, just milk like that. I used to drink milk. But then later on, after a few years, because of, I don't know why, this is because of the quality of milk or processing, I don't know, I've been started reacting with this, after consuming milk. So now I have to change completely. Now, instead of milk, what are the other calcium sources? So there is nachni, ragi, rasgira, drumstick, which are the other calcium sources, or til, which I can incorporate instead of, just focusing on milk, because milk, I'm reacting to milk, so I cannot take in milk. Yeah, so these are the things you have to, see for yourself first, and try to see that how you can consume, what is your schedule, because everyone has different schedule. Yeah, it is not that ek diet hai to sabke liye, generalized. It is like having clothes, not one size fits all. Everyone has different fittings. Even if you have a standard size in a store, you will still alter somewhere, because it's not fitting to your waist, or it's not fitting to your shoulders, something. So same thing, your diet also should fit your schedule, your timings, your quantities, what is made at home, what is cooked at home, what is available, also your likings, your dislikings, everything. So don't just directly jump to any of the diets which you just see, or any of the influencers are following, any of the celebrities are following. Try to see your body first, yeah, and then your schedule and what can work for you. And you have to keep on experimenting, yeah. Nothing works overnight. Nothing is, as I told you, nothing is magic pill, magic nutrient or magic food, yeah. Even to pass an examination for your college, you have to study for a year, yeah. You have to pass that particular level, or that particular standard. You have to pass those semester exams, to and you have to pass, at least get average marks in each subject. You cannot pass in just one subject and fail in other and go to the next level. So you have to concentrate on all the aspects. One more thing, what people are not realizing is that they will focus on only one thing. Like I said, they will focus on only either nutrition or a diet, or they will focus on only gymming or only physical activity. It's a combination. You have to focus on your nutrition, training, and stress management, mental well-being, social well-being, everything, sleep also. All these factors will help you to for to get that weight loss or whatever fitness goal you want. Nothing works in isolation, yeah. People are going wrong in that terms. They are just focusing on only one thing and then they want results. Even for people to get medals at an Olympic level, they are practicing for years. Imagine. You must have seen Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, yeah, the sprinter, Olympic medalist, yeah, gold medalist. He has said that for that 9-second world record, I had to practice 4 years. And people give up in a month or 2 months. Okay, so it should not happen. It's a continuous process. It is continuously upgrading yourself and trying to connect with all these different aspects of health.
Absolutely. So there is no magic pill. There's no one size fits all. It's important to, listen to your body and make those adjustments according to your own lifestyle. Absolutely. So since, okay, we know that we can't generalize with regards to diet and nutrition, there's nothing that we can generalize. But in general, if you had to give a checklist, of things that all of us should try to incorporate in our diet, कि मतलब ये होना ही चाहिए. It's very important for these things to be done in your day-to-day life and to be eaten in your day-to-day life for everyone, for our age, our parents' age, just some things that we all need to do. So could you give us a mention of few things that such things that we need to eat or we need to incorporate in our day-to-day lives?
Okay. So there are a few things I would suggest. First is water. Yeah, very important. People are really drinking less water. So try to at least drink 2 to 3 liters of water. If you are, going outside, working, doing some activity, at least 3 liters of water, and in intervals, not at one go. Okay, that's the one tip. Second tip is consume at least 2 fruits, different fruits in a day. It can be a banana and an orange, whatever it is. True, 2 fruits have to be consumed in a day. It should be different colors also. Try to see that it's orange is there. One week you have orange and yellow, one week you have a purple, and you have banana, white or something like that. So try to incorporate that. Vegetables, try to see that in a day at least you're consuming 3 different types of vegetables minimum. Okay, so it can be a leafy vegetable, it can be something like cauliflower, which is white, or brinjal, which is a colored vegetable, and onion or tomatoes, something like that. So 3 to 4 different types of vegetables in a day. So whether it is in a form of raw, like a salad form, or in a juice form, or a soup form, or it's a cooked sabji, some form of bhaji it is. Okay, it can be like that. So these are the few tips which are people are not eating on a regular basis. How many of you are eating at least 2 fruits in a day? Very few. Daily, yeah, it should be daily. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए 1 week किया बाद में next week nothing happened. So daily at least. And these are very simple things. 2 fruits you can have. What I generally do is I get my week ka fruit, whatever I am going to consume on Sunday. So I have the fruits in front of me in the house. So when I see the food, I eat it. Okay. Another tip I want to give is don't store foods which are fried and sugary. Mostly it happens you store all those bhujiyas and chips and Maggie in the house and biscuits, cream biscuits and all those things in a house, and you know the where you have stored it. It's in front of some dabba in the cabinet, and you know whenever you're hungry you try to go there and eat it. So if these things are not in the house, then you will not purposely go outside and eat it. Yeah, you will eat whatever is there easily available, because if you're physically hungry you can just see, okay, fruit is available, I am hungry, I'll just eat that. And you can have any favorite fruit. I'm not saying that just stick to these fruits. Any favorite fruit. If you don't like to eat fruits as it is, try to sprinkle some chaat masala on that, or salt and pepper, and or salt or red chili powder in that, and eat it. Try to make a fruit salad. So try to incorporate those things. Other thing is, if you can drink milk, at least 2 glasses of milk or 2 milk products. So it can be in the form of dahi, or yogurt, or lassi, or buttermilk, or plain milk. Okay, so there's some calcium. If you're not consuming milk, you don't like it, or you're allergic, or you're intolerant, you can have til laddus. If for Makar Sankrant, if til laddus are still there, you can have those, or just have 1 spoon of roasted til in your sabji or dal. So those are the things. Or Rajgira laddu or Rajgira chikki, it's very rich in calcium, so that people can have that. There's small things you need to add. Another thing you can add is nuts. People are not also consuming nuts on a daily basis. Nuts have, they're rich in minerals, they're rich in vitamins, and also good fats, yeah, which will help you to boost your mood also. So if you're feeling low, if you have a handful of nuts, you'll feel a little better. It also helps in focus and concentration. So any nuts, you have almonds, and you have almonds, cashews and walnuts and pistas. So any nuts, whichever you like, just a handful in a day is enough, and you're good to go. So these are the few tips. There are so many, but these are the few simple tips which you can, start doing it immediately.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Like, yeah, sure. We should all try to, at least start bringing these changes just to make these things accessible and to make it fun, just instead of, okay, fruits are boring, make a fruit salad or something. Yeah.
Right.
So you've emphasized a lot on sleep. You've mentioned it twice or thrice, and I for one can say that my sleep schedule has gone for a complete toss, and I don't know what time I sleep, and then you have to wake up early for lectures. So, what do you think is an ideal sleep schedule? I mean, what should we aim? How many hours of sleep should we aim to get, and also how do we improve the quality of our sleep?
So first of all, see, I'm also not an expert in this sleep, yeah, but whatever I have read, I can tell you is that sleep is important because our body also has a biological clock. You must have heard this term,
Circadian
in
rhythm.
many, yes, so many places. So it also has a biological clock. There are the timing when our body slows down, body needs to recover, because in an entire day you must have done some physical activity, your brain was active, yeah. So it requires some rest. Your body, the internal tissues and cells can repair themselves. Okay, so the night time is ideally the best, yeah. So it is said that from 10 p.m to 6 p.m at least, you should have sleep. 7 to 8 hours minimum you should get sleep, and mostly it should be a sound sleep, yeah. Sound sleep, you should not wake up in between, or people have an habit of waking up in between, or even if they're sleeping at 10 a.m they actually don't sleep by 3 or 4 a.m in the morning. Okay, so that is a problem. So what else you can do is, in terms of eating, don't drink coffee just before your sleep time at night, yeah. Or in fact, don't drink coffee or something which has caffeine in it, because there are a lot of energy drinks and soft drinks which also sometimes have caffeine in it. So your tea, normal tea, has little amount of caffeine, green tea has caffeine, coffee, obviously coffee also has caffeine, chocolate also has some amount of caffeine in it. Okay, so all these things, if you're not able to sleep properly at night, try to see that you are avoiding these all foodstuffs containing caffeine after 6 p.m. So nothing after 6 p.m. You should have. It will hinder your sleep cycle. Other thing is like, don't eat too much for your dinner and then immediately sleep. Yeah, because again your digestion is happening, that system is active, and your entire body is not able to maybe rest. Yeah, so try to, it is usually said, you have 2 hours gap between your food, your dinner, and your sleep. Yeah, so you have enough time for the digestion, and digestion happens properly, and then you can sleep. You have to sit after the dinner, also after eating, sit in a vajrasan position for better digestion. Okay, and then you can sleep, because if you don't have proper digestion also, there are some issues with your sleep also. Other thing is, it's not related to nutrition, but it is related to stress management. If you are under stress, you need to know how to manage it. Maybe do meditation. Deep breathing helps a lot. Personally for me, I usually deep breathe. So if I'm under pressure or something, I try to calm myself. So that is one more technique. If you are finding difficult to sleep properly or having a sound sleep, try this deep breathing also. Other thing is like screen time. At least, I know it's not possible to have a gap of 1 hour between your sleep and screen time. So at least half an hour. So if you know that I'm going to sleep at 10 p.m, try to switch off your phones, your tablets, your laptops at 9:30. No screen time half an hour before. And that really helps. If you restrict your screen time just at least half an hour before your sleep time, it works. You can get that sound sleep also. So that you can try.
Yeah, absolutely. Using your phone before sleeping is not a good idea, because then you go to sleep and then 2 hours you're scrolling on Instagram. So absolutely, that's great advice that we all should use. So this has been a great conversation about diet and all of this so far. But another thing that we were asked to focus on was fitness. So in the given situation, of course, it's obviously very, very important for us to get some kind of physical activity, no matter how busy we are. Just a little amount of physical activity every day is very essential, because now we're not even going to college. So all of that, daily up and down, that's not there. So how would you suggest that all of us get some amount of physical activity in a day? What are the few creative ways in which we can, just keep ourselves active?
I think now people are going outside. So even if you have lectures, you still go outside to meet friends or walking. So start walking, start some activity. Even if you want to do it at home, start spot jogging. These small activities, you have simple activities on YouTube also. There are spot jogging, you have jumping jacks, you have skipping, so many simple things where the chances of injuries are also less. You can do it without any trainer's help or any expert's help. So try to incorporate some form of the activity daily. Maybe yoga, if you like yoga, or surya namaskars, just skipping also, if you like, do it. Yeah, this is very much important. You need to break that sitting cycle, or you need to break that inactivity. We are also terming it as movement paralysis. You are not doing any movement in the day. Yeah, you're just sitting or sleeping. Yeah, that movement has been restricted. So try to do some form of the activity, whatever you like. There are so many videos on YouTube, there are so many videos on Instagram also. Yeah, people are showing how to do it, simple things. So it is not about you don't know. This is not something which you all don't know. Yeah, it obviously everyone knows this. Everyone is active on social media. Everyone sees these videos, fitness videos. It is that motivation is lacking to do that activity in a day. So I think that is the major factor, that motivation to do that physical activity, that motivation to eat healthy, to incorporate foods, variety of foods in your diet, that is lacking. I think people also should work on that motivation.
Absolutely. So we have a few sports persons in college as well, and something that a lot of sports people have observed is that so many months of being at home have sort of take their stamina and their physical fitness has sort of taken a hit. So they're finding it very difficult to get back into that rhythm of being so active every day, and it's sort of difficult to get back into that very heavy routine again. So how would you suggest they start shifting back to improving their performance?
First of all, try go slowly. You directly don't start with high intense workouts. First, because for so many months the body was into inactive mode, or you were doing little exercises because not all equipments were there, or not all the gym equipments were there. So try to start slowly. Another thing is, in food wise, now since your activity is going to increase, your food intake should also increase. And I would say food intake, just see what foods you're eating. Yeah, because once your energy expenditure, you're going to expend a lot of calories or burn a lot of calories, you require calories also to consume. Now calories can come from both. It can come from an apple also, it can come from a burger also, but which calories are you going to choose, that makes a lot of difference. Yeah. So first of all, when you're starting your training, also, as I told you, focus on your food habits. First of all, try analyze what food you're eating, what food is working for you, how much you need to eat. Now you started the exercises and you started your sports practice, whether you're feeling tired, yeah, are there muscle cramps, because it will happen because you're suddenly starting the exercise after so many months. Yeah. So there will be cramps, or there will be muscle pain, there will be soreness. So all these things, first try to see what is happening to your body. Yeah. And then accordingly, what foods are helping you, your body will tell. If you're not eating enough, you will feel tired during your workouts. Yeah, you will even after you first you were doing so many reps, now you are not able to do so many reps. Yeah, you are feeling tired, you are not getting enough motivation to do that. So see to it that whether you're eating enough food in a day, whether you're fueling your workout properly, whether you're eating the proper pre-workout foods, proper hydration during the workouts, proper post-workout food, everything. This is a complex field, sports nutrition also, because what foods in how many amounts and what type, everything will uh, uh, you know uh, will be taken into account when planning a diet for a sports person. So first, try to see what are your habits and how you're able to achieve your fitness goals.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, that's great advice. So, if if I were to ask you to pick one, so which one would you give more emphasis to? I mean, I know you've said that it's a combination of everything, but it's said that only 30% of our body is made in the gym and the rest 70% is made in our kitchen. So, is how do you see that? Which according to you is more important, diet or working out or gymming?
uh Again, more important nothing, everything has equal weightage in terms, where if I look into it, you have to do physical activity. But yeah, I would say diet, following a particular nutrition plan is little difficult, because you need to control your cravings also. Even if you want to eat it, you have to eat it in moderation. That thing is little difficult. So in terms of sticking to particular diet plan or a nutrition plan, or your regular eating habits is little difficult. So I would say little bit importance should be more, and nutrition is a foundation. So even if you are injured and you are at bed rest, you will still eat food, you will need food to recover. Yeah. So a bit more importance on the food part, how you are eating it, what are you eating. If you have a proper eating habits, and not only proper eating habits, but a good relationship with the food. Yeah, how your relationship with the food is, that also matters. Because what happens, I ate 2 slices of pizza today, and I felt guilty. And then I realized, oh my God, I had 2 slices of pizza and now I have to run or burn off that in gym. No, then that's not a positive relationship you have with food. Yeah. If you have the craving of eating something, your favorite food or favorite, this fast food, go and eat it. Yeah. First of all, try to do it in moderation. So instead of having that entire medium size pizza, just have 1 slice of pizza, and have salad or fruit with that, and then feel okay with that. Don't feel guilty, that oh my God, I had. Just feel good about it. Oh my God, amazing, the pizza was amazing. The flavor was good, it was crisp enough, it was cheesy enough, the toppings were really good. Savor the food, try to savor the food, try to have a positive impact on the mind about that food. And once you have that positive relationship with the food, and when when to stop, and how much to have, I think you will not require any dietitian or nutritionist to help you throughout your journey. For just starting, just for guidance is enough, and then you can go on your own. So that is very important, maintaining a positive relationship with food.
Absolutely. I mean, shame, guilt, punishment, these are not things that we should associate with our food. It's very important to be grateful for everything that we eat. So
Yes.
I completely agree with that. So on the same lines, how do you think that, our whole, the fitness and the nutrition side of our life affects our mental health?
Hmm. Uh, a lot. I think there are so many studies also stating that regular exercise or regular physical activity helps to develop your brain, or helps to have mental stability or mental well-being. Yeah. It also exercises releases endorphins. Endorphins makes you happy. Yeah. It's a favorite, it's a really good saying in a movie also. Reese Witherspoon movie. I don't remember. She was a lawyer in that, and she said that exercise makes you releases endorphins, and endorphins makes you happy. So
Oh,
it is
Legally
like
Blonde.
Legally Blonde. Yeah, Legally Blonde. Yeah. So exercise has a lot of effect on your mental health also. And doing exercises regularly, it will help you to concentrate more. You will feel energetic, you will feel happy. Yeah, it's like a natural happy drug, I would say. Exercising, it's a really underrated drug, I would say. So that helps. Other thing is, when you talk about food also, there are some foods which help you to have a better mental health. Like you have nuts, you have yogurt, all these things which helps you which helps to keep your digestive system also in a good shape or good health. I would also like to say one more thing here, a fact here. uh, your digestive tract, it is also related to your mind health. So how good your digestive system is, that will also relate to your how good your mental health is. Yeah, because there's a hormone called as serotonin. Yeah. Which is almost 90%, it is synthesized in your gut. Okay, so if your gut is healthy, you have a good portion or amount of serotonin which is synthesized, and which will keep your you will keep yourself happy, or in a good mood. So if your digestive tract is not good, you have so many bad bacteria in that, and if you don't have regular timings of food, meal timings, you're eating too much of fast food, too much of junk food, too much of sugary food, that imbalance in your digestive tract happens, and it will also lead to frustration, or always feeling tired, that fatigue, that mental fatigue sets in. So try to keep your gut healthy, so you will have good gut what you say gut thinking. Whenever your gut feeling hota hai
Yeah.
कि my gut feeling is telling me that I have to do this, and most of the times your gut feeling is right. So if you're keeping your gut healthy and happy, your mind will also be happy, and your gut feeling will always be right.
Absolutely, that's a really nice thought that you've given. And yeah, so we've covered nutrition, we've covered fitness, we've covered lifestyle. So this has been a very enriching, these have been really great tips that you've shared with us. But now some questions for you. So you've been a sports person, you with rope, Malkham, and everything, and state awards. So, just like how does the world of sports, how has it impacted you as a person? What have you taken away from your involvement in the world of sports?
Oh my God, there are so many things. Sports has been a major part in my life, in my upbringing also. Because I came into sports when I was almost 8 years. I was small. Okay, sports has taught me so many things. Team, how to be a good team player, how to manage. So I was good in academics also, and I was good in sports also. So how to manage your studies, and also how to manage your practice timings. So management, organization, how to organize everything. I used to have timetables for my studies, when I will study a particular chapter, and then when I will go to my practice. I just had classes for my 10th standard. I didn't have classes till 9th standard. Okay, just for few subjects I had classes, extra classes. Otherwise I did it on my own. And I played all the competitions during my 10th, during my 12th. So focus, it improved a lot of focus and memory and everything. And also confidence, confidence of speaking in front of so many people, confidence of being yourself in in public. Because whenever you're performing your routine in the competitive arena, or when you're demonstrating, we also used to do a lot of demonstrations, Malkham demonstrations. So performing in huge in front of huge crowd, you need that confidence. You also should be able to present yourself well. Yeah, because sometimes I was demonstrating, sometimes I was hosting the demonstration, I was anchoring. So how to speak, how to present yourself, the tone and everything. So uh, things which your in academics you don't learn. Yeah, you learn all those things in sports. You meet so many people uh, during your competitions. You play in your different districts, then you play in different states. Okay, for demonstrations I went outside India also. So you meet different people. Yeah, you connect with them. You know how to behave with different people, how to speak to them, speak to your seniors, speak to your juniors, speak to your colleagues. So I think all these things sports has taught me. Sports has also taught me to be grounded, because not every time you will win. There would be some days you will fail in the competition, you will not win that medal. So how you handle the failure, and I think that is the most important in today's world, that handling failure. Because people are not able to handle failure, also handle the pressure also. So handle pressure and handle failure. I think sports has also taught me that, how to handle this different difficult situations.
Wow. So it's really inspiring, all of everything that you can take away from this world of sports. So my final question before we open up to the audience for questions is just a quick one. What is your ideal healthy meal on a lazy day? When you're lazy, you don't want to cook a lot, but you also want to eat healthy. What does a nutritionist make on a day like that?
Oh, it's dal khichdi.
Dal khichdi.
That's my, even if, I don't want to make it, but I want to, eat it outside. I always order dal khichdi. So,
It's a safe option.
it's the safe option. It has a good amount of dal and good of, so, combination of carbohydrates, fats. Sometimes it's vegetable dal khichdi. There are some vegetables, but that's my go-to option if I have to make something at home very quick and healthy. Or if you want to, even if I have to order but I want something healthy, dal khichdi is my favorite option.
All right. So those were all the questions from my side to Apurva, ma'am, and I'm so grateful to you for giving such impeccable answers to all of my questions. So yeah, we're now open to questions from the audience. You can either unmute yourselves and ask the question, or you can put it up on the chat box. Okay, Gauri asks, hi ma'am, what alternatives would you suggest for refined sugar other than jaggery? And how can we slowly reduce our consumption of refined sugar, especially if we have a sweet tooth?
Okay, so first of all, if you're craving for sweets, you might be deficient in B complex vitamins. So check your B12 levels also, B complex levels also in your body. Yeah. Second thing, if you want to reduce sugar, you other than jaggery, you have dates. Yeah, khajur, which is a sweet option. You have honey, so you can incorporate that also. There are two things which are will take care of your sweet tooth. Other than that, try to eat apple. Sometimes apple helps for that sweet craving, so you can eat apple slices that you can have. So these are the few things. You can have yogurt. So if you're craving for ice cream, something sweet like ice cream, try to have yogurt, frozen. So something frozen, or you can just put that yogurt ka dabba in the freezer and remove it. You will have that ice cream flavor. So you can try that also. That is how I think you can reduce refined sugar. Now refined sugar is also there in a lot of products, hidden in a lot of biscuits and cookies, and any products. Just see the ingredient list. Sometimes they will not mention sugar, but they will mention fructose, or they will mention sucrose, or dextrose, or maltodextrins. There are so many types which are nothing but sugar, refined sugar. Okay, so it is not only the sugar which you have at home which is the source, but these are all the hidden sources in all the products. Yeah, even if it's sometimes spicy product, sometimes it will still have sugar. Something which is low fat will have sugar in that. So please check the ingredients, so you can reduce the consumption of refined sugar from all these products also.
Right. That thank you for that answer, ma'am. So another question we have from Nikita is that it's a very common question that she has. If whether egg yolk is healthy, she says that everyone has a different answer for this. So what is your take on this?
Egg yolk is absolutely healthy. Egg yolk has almost all the nutrients except carbohydrates and vitamin C. Otherwise, it has all the vitamins, all the minerals also. So you can absolutely eat egg yolk. You are young. You can digest it properly. You can absorb it properly. So go ahead, eat the egg yolk. Please cook it and eat it. That's the only thing you have to be careful of. Don't eat the raw ones, or try to avoid sunny side up. Also try to cook it properly and eat it.
I hope that answers your question, Nikita. And yeah, do we have any other questions from the audience? You can put it up on the chat box. You can unmute yourselves and ask. We'll wait for a minute or two.
I would like to go again.
Yeah, sure.
You answered a question regarding mental health and fitness. So my question to you is, what kind of fruits or vegetables do we eat to actually try and get back on track when it comes to mental health, if we are facing any problems, that is?
First of all, try to see that if you're consuming as I told you, there is no single food as superfood. Okay, so try to consume a variety of fruits and vegetables. So I don't want to give specific fruits that are, you eat this fruits. No, then what will happen? People will start consuming that fruits. So see to it that if you as I told you, click photos. If you click photos throughout the week, yeah, you should be able to see different colored fruits and vegetables in your plate. Okay, or in your day's diet. So try to see that you are consuming a variety of fruits. It can be apple, pineapple, oranges, avla, Yeah, strawberries, all these grapes are in season now, black grapes, green grapes. So try to consume a variety of fruits, because all these fruits and vegetables have vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals, plant chemicals, which have some benefit for your health. Okay, so try to consume different fruits, a variety of foods, rather than just sticking to 2 3 fruits. That will help you, to give that particular vitamins and minerals required for your mental health, and antioxidants also.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. That answers my question.
So another question we have from Gauri is that since our screen time has increased, it has been affecting our ocular health, so like our eyes. And how do you think we can make up for that through our diet? And is it better to use Indian cooking or olive oil or virgin olive oil for salads?
Okay, so first question is, there are few nutrients which are really good for your eye. First of all is very important, vitamin A. Okay, so vitamin A you get from all your orange and yellow colored foods. So whichever food is yellow or orange color, you're going to get either vitamin A. So non-veg foods have direct vitamin A, retinol, and vegetarian foods or plant foods have something called as beta carotene. Okay, this beta carotene gets converted to retinol in your body. So you need to consume all this bright orange and yellow colored foods to improve your vision or improve your eye health. And then again, all other things, balanced food, yeah, balanced nutrition should be there in place. Enough of proteins in your diet, enough of carbohydrates in your diet, which will help you to build this, for your eye health. So that you first of all, vitamin A is a major plays a major role in your vision. So those foods, and other things should be balanced, and enough of water also. Try to blink your eyes more often, because since we are staring a lot on the screens, we are not blinking is also an exercise for your eyes, for your eye health. It moistens your eye, so that is also one other thing you need to do. Another thing, salad, see, olive oil you can have virgin olive oil and all for your salads. It's not an issue. It is not compulsory to have that. Please see to it that it is not compulsion to have olive oil only. Yeah, it is healthy, I understand, but there are other oils also which are healthy. So don't just stick to eating olive oil only. You can have virgin olive oil on your salads. If you like it, you can have it.
All right. So another question we have from Ishwari. She says, "Hello, ma'am. I have a very common question, and something I usually feel that is starting a diet plan or scheduling a meal chart is the first step, but following it for a week seems tough. Since she is a bit into fitness and sports, what would be your advice towards working on our temptations like junk food, and how can we be more consistent with following a diet plan?"
Okay. So when you are following a diet plan, just don't directly jump to following everything at one time. Okay, at one go. So if you think you want to, change your breakfast, you want to eat, this particular type of breakfast. So for a week, try to see that you're having healthy breakfast for that entire week at that particular time. So start changing one thing about your diet first. Don't entirely change your diet at one go. One thing. Then next week, with the breakfast, if you want to start having fruits, I will have fruits, at 11 or 11:30. I will have 2 fruits maybe, or 1 fruit maybe. So change this thing. So your breakfast timing, and your healthy breakfast, and your fruits. Then next week, add on to that with maybe lunch, if you want to incorporate salad or one raw vegetable. So don't go for 2 3 different salad vegetables. You can start with one raw vegetable. So I will eat one raw vegetable with my lunch every day. So keep adding on. It is just adding on your habits, not completely changing the diet at one thing. It is impossible. You don't learn all your chapters in the textbook at one go. You start one chapter or one topic at a time. So same thing with your diet. Also start with one thing, start to change one thing, and then entirely after 3-4 months you will see that you have an entire healthy food habit or healthy food plan. So just try to do that. And temptations, what you can do is, if you're 80% of your time, if you're eating healthy, 20% you can have those cravings, eat that junk food. As I told you, moderation, you can do it. So if you know that I had from morning to evening, I had amazing healthy food, home cooked food or whatever healthy food, I want to eat that one plate sev puri, go and have it. Because you had, don't eat 2-3 plates, just eat one plate and fulfill your craving or fulfill that satisfaction if you want. So 80%, see that 80%, if you're eating healthy, 20% you can have your favorite foods, you can have ice cream or chocolate, but don't go overboard, keep it in moderation.
All right, thank you. And we have another question from Ruchi. She asks, what are your opinions on extra supplements like protein supplements? And in what amount should one consume supplements like these, considering that you are a professional athlete?
Okay, first of all, I always tell all my athletes, food first approach. See that your food is in place, you are consuming a balanced diet. Okay, if you're not doing that, supplements will not work. First of all, see all your protein requirements, everything comes from food. If there is a problem with your digestion, or you're not able to eat particular protein foods through the food, or you're doing too much of activity and you're not able to fulfill those requirements from the food, then you require supplements. Okay, so don't directly jump on supplements. First correct your food plan, and then go on supplement. I think that was the, yeah. And what one must consume, what amounts, yeah, one scoop which gives 20 to 25 grams of protein is enough. Preferably post workout is enough, is preferable. It should be combined with the carbohydrate food, otherwise that protein supplement will also not work, which it has to be worked in your body. So it is better to combine with the carbohydrate source.
And so the last question we'll be taking is from Joshua. He says that it's really difficult to maintain a diet when you have friends who keep saying कि चलना Subway जाते हैं, चलना McDonald's जाते हैं. So how should you convince them, or should we just ask them to check out your Instagram?
You go with them, enjoy, don't eat the burger. Yeah, so if you feel like eating, have one, just stop there. Go with them, enjoy with them. They are not going to force you that food in your mouth. Okay, that is in your control. So how much you have control on yourself, it depends on you, not on your friends. Okay, uh, you are college, I also have been to college, I know you go out, so you go out with them. Just if you want to eat, just eat maybe a bite of it, or half, maybe divide that burger, divide that whatever fries or whatever, eat small portion. If you want to eat, in between drink a lot of water, so you don't keep on eating the fries, or you don't tempt to eat more of those fast food. And or you can control yourself of not eating. That's also an option you can have. Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram also. I keep posting lot of tips on that, especially for sports nutrition, and there are some general tips on nutrition also. They are very simple, so you can understand, so you can incorporate in your day-to-day life also. My Instagram handle is @sports.nutritionist.apurva, so you can find me on that and you can follow me. Thank you so much.
All right, so those were all the questions from our audience, and it's been such an amazing session. And before we end, we'd like to make a small request from the audience. If you all could, if you're comfortable, please turn on your camera so that we can take a nice picture for memory's sake, and for all of us to put on our social media handles. So that'd be amazing if you could just turn on your cameras for a second.
And thank you again. Once again I would to like to thank Ruya College, Ruya Student Council. I know all the people who, even Aditi Karambekar. She's my junior. She's also a great player, Malkham player. She connected with me and she told me whether I can, take up this session. So I thank her also, and I thank Divya for being such a wonderful host and asking amazing questions. Thank you so much for the audience. I don't know whether you were listening or not, because it is very difficult in an online session to judge whether the students and everyone is listening or not. But thank you for the amazing questions also. Uh, uh, it was fun. And any of you, if you have more questions, you can DM me on Insta. I have my email ID also. I'll share it here. If you want, you can post questions on that also. I would be happy to answer all your questions.
Okay, so has someone taken the picture or should we take it now? Okay. So, okay, I guess that's about it, ma'am. Thank you so much for being so generous and coming here and giving us all of these insightful tips today. I've taken so much away from this session. There's so many new things that I've learned today, and I'm sure all of us have. And it's we're going to, try to bring all of these tips into use in our day-to-day lives. So, on behalf of our entire team, I'm really grateful to you for being here today and sharing all of this knowledge with us. And yeah, of course, we're all going to follow you on Instagram now and sort of keep taking tips from you. So yeah, it's been an amazing session. Thank you so much to the audience. You've been a great audience. You've asked some amazing questions. And yeah, it's thank you to all of you. I hope you all have a great day. And yeah, we can call it a day here. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.